All right, I am back with a rare Saturday DC update, and this one is a doozy. And we're going to take a look at this. Apparently, James Gunn is on a mission from God. Oh, yeah, you heard it here first. James Gunn is on a mission from God. All right, and I'm going to prove it to you here today. We're going to take a look at this article, and we're going to take a look at this ridiculous article. And then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the writer's strike. I have some insider information, some actual, real insider information. This is the first time where I'm telling you guys I have information that other people do not. And I'm going to be giving you that information at the end of this video. It is going to tie into this article, but we're going to take a look at this article. And this article is about the investor call with David Zaslav that took place yesterday. And this is some crazy stuff. So here we go. Warner Brothers Discovery boss David Zaslav would rather talk about James Gunn's mission from God than the writer's strike. The Warner Brothers Discovery earnings call saw more DC Studios bravado, streaming trending upwards, and no mention of the writer's strike. Let's take a look at this. This is ridiculous, and I'm going to show you how one of the numbers that they're going to be praising here in a minute, how ridiculous this number is compared to how much money they lost. It's laughable at this stage. You wouldn't know it by David Zaslav's impressive salary, but Warner Brothers is coming off two of the worst years, as the boss himself said on the company's quarterly earnings call. To hear him tell it, the Discovery merger was indeed just the thing to right the ship, and the company is now able to rebuild historic Warner Brothers to its former glory. And what, pray tell, will restore the illustrious studio's glory? DC superheroes, of course. We got James Gunn and Peter Safran working very hard on DC, which is going to be a very big growth driver for this company. That's David Zaslav. He continues with, "We are very bullish on DC. The Superman script first draft is done. Gunn is on a mission from God. It is a really good moment to prove out on DC what we got and how strong it is globally for long-term sustainable growth." This is short-sighted. First of all, DC, not just DC, but superhero movies are on a downward spiral. In fact, if you look at what's going on with Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which looks like a generic superhero film, the look of it, and I could tell you that they're going to be going on a cheap budget for Superman Legacy, which is going to include that generic look to it. And Guardians of the Galaxy had generic all written all over it. It was a decent film. You know, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. You can see my review. It's a spoiler-free review here on YouTube. But it's not an amazing film, and I don't think we're going to get an amazing film for Superman Legacy. I don't think people want to see Waller. I don't think people are going to want to see Waller, the Creature Commandos. I think these are projects that are niche projects. This is what they're starting with, and I don't think it's going to bring in the subscribers that they think it's going to, which is going to lead to the next part of this where they talk about some amazing stuff. So he said, from the start of his tenure, Zaslav has championed theatrical releases. That strategy saw a straight-to-streaming fare, like Batgirl, struck from the record entirely, while a film mired in controversy like The Flash has positioned as DC's big comeback feature. I don't think it's going to be as big as they think it is. If you look at the marketing for The Flash, it's all about Batman. It's all about Michael Keaton. It's all about Ben Affleck. It's not really centered around The Flash. In fact, they just released a brand new poster 2 days ago. And the only thing on the poster is the Bat Cave, you've got the Batmobile, and you got Batman walking away from the Batmobile. They're banking on those guys. Now, this movie, The Flash, to make a profit, has to make over $800 million. That's a big ask. Superhero films right now are just not making that kind of money. And after you've pissed off a big portion of the fan base, as you can see with what happened with Shazam, I don't think this movie is going to make anywhere near as much as they think it is. But he goes on to say, we got some more movies that are better. We have been working hard on fixing them and enhancing them and investing. We said no movie before its time. And with Barbie, which I do think is going to make a ton of money, and Flash, we have two very good movies. I think the slate coming up will make a big difference. We have a lot of money in the motion picture business, and making that turn is important. I don't think they're going to make it with this slate. They do have some other things, but I just don't think they're going to be as profitable as they think. This is where the ridiculous statement comes in. Like Paramount, Warner Brothers Discovery's reported big losses in quarterly earnings. A net loss in that one quarter of $1.1 billion, according to CNBC. How crazy is that? If they do that for the whole year, that's $4.5 billion they would have lost. However, the streaming side apparently turned a $50 million profit. Woohoo! Yes, $50 million. That is 1/22nd of what they lost. How can they be proud of that? With the company expecting that segment of the business to be fully profitable earlier than predicted, the company did not comment on the ongoing writer's strike in the earnings call, though the writers have been doing their own math about Warner Brothers Discovery earnings, and this is crazy. David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, the parent company of the network I'm talking to you on right now, was paid $250 million last year, writer and comedian Adam Conover said on a recent appearance on CNN. That's about the same as what 10,000 writers are asking to pay us collectively. We're going to talk about the writer's strike here in a few minutes. The Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers released their own rebuttal regarding the negotiations with the Writers Guild of America. The studio's bargaining unit provided its alternate perspective on certain WGA proposals, like guaranteeing a certain amount of jobs in the writer's room, regulating the use of AI and what they get paid for streaming, that the AMPTP rejected, and in some cases refused to counter. And we're going to talk about why they're refusing to counter. And I've got some insider information on this. As for Warner Brothers CEO Zaslav, he later expressed confidence that the two sides will come to an agreement. A love for the business and a love for working. We all come into this business because we love storytelling, Zaslav said during an appearance on CNBC's Squawk Box. That's what's going to bring us together. This writer says those things may indeed bring people together, but they have to pay the bills too. If the company makes big superhero bucks, shouldn't writers get to share that wealth? They certainly should. So let's talk about what all of this means. All right, so first of all, it's ridiculous to even suggest that James Gunn is on a mission from God. He's not on a mission from God, okay? This isn't scripture. This isn't church. This isn't a religion. Okay, these are superheroes. These are where people go to get their entertainment to get away from real life, all right? And it's on a downward spiral right now, and Marvel is proving that in spades, because I will tell you, I really liked the last Ant-Man movie. I liked it a lot better than the second one. Same with Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I liked it a lot better than Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But these movies are still somewhat generic. They're just go and have fun type of movies. They're not having the impact they used to be. And Warner Brothers would be in much better shape if they would have just let the filmmakers do their movies from the beginning. We wouldn't even be here today. But we are here. And Zaslav banking on these characters when they're starting with weird stuff is not going to bring in the money that they think it's going to bring. I think they're going to continue to see profit losses, and I think they will be sold here within the next year or two. I don't think they're going to hold on to this stuff, and then things will change entirely again. But let's talk about the writer's strike. I do have some insider information here that I'm going to give you guys. I'm going to talk about why they're striking, why they won't negotiate, and what's going to happen on June 1st. So first of all, the reason they're refusing to negotiate and won't do some stuff is, they talked about in the article that they want to regulate AI. There should be no regulation. It should be completely taken out of creative stuff. I don't mind it being used to write like YouTube headlines, stuff like that. But as far as using it to create music, to create scripts, stuff like that, I think AI needs to stay out of it. I really do. It's going to threaten the job that I do. It's going to threaten all these other jobs, which you're taking the human side out of humanity, and it needs to be regulated. So they don't even want it in the writer's room at all, because recently Hollywood said they were going to consider taking AI scripts. That's not okay, especially when they're not paying the people that are making a living off of this, because you go AI, The only people that profit off of that is the studios, and then people starve. And, if AI gets so big, it's going to destroy hundreds of millions of jobs globally, which will destabilize the whole entire world. People don't realize how dangerous AI is going to become. But I digress. Let's get back to the writer strike thing here. So they don't want it in there at all. But the other thing is, the reason they're not negotiating is because they want to go 90 days. If the writers go 90 days, all of their current contracts become null and void, and they have to negotiate new contracts. That's the goal here, is to negotiate new contracts so that they can go in and get what they deserve. Otherwise, right now, they don't have a lot to bargain with, and that's why they're not negotiating, and they're going to continue to strike. So it's going to go on for at least 90 days, and then the bargaining will really begin. But here's the other side of this. What people don't realize is actors are also going to strike on June 1st. You heard it here first. I'm talking about it right now. Actors are also planning a big walkout on June 1st. So there will be no movies being made. Everything's going to come to a screeching halt. And I hope this is a big wake-up call for Hollywood, the way they treat their creators and the way they treat everybody, because there does need to be some changes. All right, if you haven't already, please subscribe, like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you will be notified as I have new videos go up.